Episode 69.
Giggity. I made right when we said, all right, let's get it started. I was like, you know what? My eyes are really bothering me. I need to go get my glasses. And as soon as I got to go, I'm like, I started listening for the music, and I made it all the way to my living room, and I heard it. I'm like, oh shit! I also barely got us into the room before it started.
Gotta have those specs,
dude. It's funny because we have a friend of the family who is an eye doc, and she's been telling me for years, just come in, like I'll get you some really nice some nice no line bifocals. We'll get a really mild prescription on there for your astigmatism. And she's like, you're in front of a computer all day. Like, we'll get you some blue light blockers. She's like, and she's like, as silly as it sounds, we'll just make your eyes happier. Like, it'll just make your eyes happier. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Finally, I broke down. I'm like, you know what? I'll go get a pair. And I will say this: they weirdly. It's not, they don't do a ton, but they do just enough that it is oddly, my eyes are more comfortable, which is a weird thing to say, but I actually like them.
I tell you what, when I tried your reading glasses on when we were at Cocodona, it was like, what the hell? Oh shit.
Don't you worry, your time is coming, buddy.
Like that can't be like, that has to be magnified or something. Like
they are magnified. They're about they're a 1.5 or something like that magnification. It's not a ton. It's funny because Ronnie and I were having serious old people moments where I would have mine or he would have his, and we were sharing each other's readers. It was pathetic as shit, man. I was like, oh man, I forgot my reader. She's like, oh, I got mine, or vice versa. But I will say, once you need them, they're one of those weird things that once you need them and you finally break down to get them, you're like, oh shit, these are okay. I've been kind of missing out for the last X amount of months or year or whatever.
Yeah. So I suppose I need to break down and grab a pair, but
what did they help you when you put mine on? Did they help?
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Then yeah.
I mean, I wear contacts because I can't see. I'm nearsighted, but the reading thing is starting to get worse. Anyway, people don't want to hear about our bad eyesight.
Our old people shit.
Yeah. All right. So we got some mountain races that have started up. It's getting to be that time of year.
It's the season.
We have an FKT in Ohio and also one in the Ozarks, and we have a major Western States contender that had to back out. We'll talk a little bit about that. And there was an interesting marathon that took place recently that we'll go over. And our 3 T's, we're talking about when shit hits the fan. What are you going to do when shit hits the fan?
What are you going to do?
All right. Well, let's just jump right into this.
Yeah.
Cruel Jewel. Jewel it's an awesome race. It's a it's a hard rock qualifier. It actually has the same amount of climbing as hard rock, over 33,000 feet. It's just not as high of altitude, but it's from my understanding, it's very technical. So and it's an out and back. So you go Vogel State Park to Blue Ridge and back. So pretty technical, and it's a hard race. 105.9 miles in the North Georgia mountains, the Chattahoochee National Forest, and in the 100-miler, Matt Pruitt won the race in 27:31. So that's how tough that race is. The winning 100-mile time is 27:31. And Shannon Wheeler DeBoeuf, she won for the women in 28:22 and got second overall. Mark Sharp, second for the men. Stan Fleming, third for the men. And Ohio's own Lee Connor coming in second for the women, 33-27. That's her warm up for Hard Rock, I believe. If Johnny, she had talked to Johnny and said that she was gonna run it as a warm up for Hard Rock, which that's a pretty stout warm up.
that she came out of partial retirement for. Like she was pretty much in retirement, and then got drawn for Hard Rock. Was like, well, shit, I got stuff off my.
She is a badass. She's always been a badass.
Yeah, like that woman's got some amazing runs to her name.
Oh God, she's just a hard charging, like take no prisoners style runner.
Yeah. Does Hard Rock course have does that course have switchbacks on it?
I mean, the parts that I've been on, they're like the switchbacks are long switchbacks, like it's like steep climbs, and then eventually it turns and goes for quite a while. There might be switchbacks on some other parts, but it's a lot of steep climb. You have a bunch of 5,000 foot climbs in that race. So
many moons ago, I paced Steve Hanna's down at Cruel Jewel. And I can attest to you, it is extremely technical, and I cannot remember a switchback on that thing. I cannot remember a switchback. And as a matter of fact, you're correct. It's an out and back, except for on your way back, there's a random spur that goes straight the ass down a mountain. You get to the bottom of the mountain and you basically high five a dude down there, and you turn your ass right back around and you're right back up it. And dude,
Cruel Jewel.
I remember being a pacer and going down the mountain or down that little spur and seeing the faces of the people coming back up and just thinking, Jesus Christ, I hope Steve's not looking at their faces like I am.
Yeah.
Because they look wrecked. It was just the nastiest little climb back up. I remember just thinking, like, God, I hope he's not seeing their faces because it's wrecked. If for folks who like my family makes fun of me for this, I love rhododendron. Rhododendron is one of my favorite plants. There are more rhododendron down in this area than you will ever know what to do with. Like, it's a really cool race if you ever get a chance to come out east and do it for anybody who's listening.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do need a Hard Rock qualifier.
I drive down in pace in Korea.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Luilla Maslow was third for the women, 34:40. But yeah, that would be a fun one. Although you do risk going in through 2 nights, which you're going. My slow ass is going to go through 2 nights.
Yeah, you can sleep at the turnaround though. You can sleep like Steve slept. Well, the best you can sleep. It is in a loud kind of area, so the best you can sleep, but you can get like a good 45-minute power nap in. Yeah,
Steve did really well at that race, if I remember.
Yeah, he didn't do too shabby.
The Keys Ultra. It's all paved, or mostly
miserable looking race.
Yeah, I know there's times when you're running when in traffic. We talked a little bit about this with Charlotte.
Costume chick, yeah.
Yeah. And she said there is quite a bit, like in the picture here, you see they're running on like a wider path next to the road. But I think there are parts like on that 7-mile bridge stuff where you're running with the traffic, and like, I don't know, like it just does not appeal to me, but it's a pretty iconic race, the Keys 100. I mean, I'm pretty sure most everybody's heard of it. There was 100, and it's been going on since 2008, looks like. And there was 113 finishers in the 100. Brett Sanborn was first, 14 hours and 21 minutes. Alexander Thomas, 18:14. Nicole Cochia was first for the women, 18:24, third overall. And Line Kalaskiner was second for the women and fourth overall, and she was 18:26. So just 2.5 minutes behind the first place female.
Yeah. The cutoff on this is must be pretty. I mean, I'm assuming the cutoff is super gracious because of the heat. I'm assuming it's 32 plus hours because you have finishers over 32.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's 30. I'm guessing it's 33-hour cutoff.
Yeah,
I see finishers listed up to 32:49.
Yeah, the heat has got to just be ungodly for this race.
Oh yeah, Florida in May.
Oh God. Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you might get some breeze off the areas where there's water, on either side of you, but
the cars flying by at Mach Jesus.
I tell you what, the cops are pretty strict in the Keys, though. I was down there in my early 20s, and they pulled 3 of us over for running a red light, even though we did not run a red light. It was yellow. The third car must have been a local because they let them go.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah.
And then they gave tickets to us in the car in front of us. So anyway, those were not cheap tickets either, and it's not like you can easily go to the Keys and fight it.
No, yeah, they know damn well you're not. Yeah.
Yeah. The Bishop High Sierra. So it's talking about mountain races. This is one. So Bishop, California is in the Eastern Sierra, and the mountains over in the Eastern Sierra they're rugged, they're high altitude, but they're beautiful. I've done some hiking over in the Eastern Sierra up by Mammoth, and it was just phenomenal. So this Bishop High Sierra takes place in Bishop, California. It's in the foothills of the Eastern Sierra. It's mostly 4-wheel drive dirt roads, a couple sections of single track, and a little bit of pavement. It's very exposed. There's hardly any trees, and it's mostly above 7,000 feet above sea level. So it's a good early season mountain. You can do a 50-miler or 100K. And the 100K Barry, Maine won in 12 hours and 22 minutes. And just 5 minutes later, it was Bradley Martin, his second, 12 hours and 27. Christina Pattison, third overall, first for the women, 12:54. And second for the women was Megan Kono, 13:05. And she finished just a few minutes behind the third place male, Daniel Kono. I'm sure there's a relation there, some way, shape, or form. And then Ashley Hall was third for the women, 14:07 in the 100K. They had a 50-miler too, and Zachary Sanoga was first, 6:59. And Jeff Kozak, a writer, either a former writer, I think, for Ultra Running Magazine, or he may still write for Ultra Running Magazine. But actually, I really liked his articles too. He was second. He lives near Bishop, so it's kind of his home course. 8 hours and 58 minutes. And then Juliana Rustrat was first for the 50-miler women, 9 hours and 10. Steph Jamis, 9:20 for second. All right. Born to Run Ultras was this weekend. This is an event that's been gaining in popularity. I've saw some videos of it online. It's actually in the area where I live now. It's in the central coast of California in Los Olivos. And it's at a ranch, at East Creek Ranch in Los Olivos. This is the 6th year, and they have a whole bunch of different distances. And this, from the videos, it's like a big party, man. Like, it's kind of like Run Woodstock, where everybody just like sets up camp, and people can come into their campsite to get crude, and they have all different distances: 200-mile, 100-mile, 60-mile, 30-mile, 10-mile, 0.0K. I know some people that would probably opt for that.
I'd do pretty well with that right now.
Yeah. So fast 20-mile loops of single and double track, 100% dirt. It's gentle rolling, 2,300 feet per loop. So there is minimal but adequate aid every 5 miles. It's easy to crew. Like I said, it's basically like 2 10-mile loops. So you're basically coming in and seeing your crew like every 10 miles. So you just do the other 10-mile loop when you go out.
Yeah.
It's pretty non-technical, I believe. So let's just look at the 100-miler. That seems to be like one of the main distances here. Ian Seabury, 1829 first. And for the women, Chalice Popke, 2211. So I think this is in the spirit of the Born to Run, the book, the ultra in the Copper Canyons. It's kind of in that family atmosphere, like community get together atmosphere. I think Barefoot Ted usually goes to this event.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the Born to Run. Massanutten was this weekend. Another East Coast mountain run. Pretty famous one. It's been going on a long time.
Super old school. Yeah, super old school.
Like, how long has that been going on? I can't remember.
It's funny because I usually judge that kind of thing about what their website looks like. And you know what I mean? Like that website's rough.
Yeah. Anyways, so Massanutten is in Fort Valley, Virginia, and it's in the George Washington National Forest. It has about 18,000 feet of climbing. And Nicholas Weirs was first in 20 hours and 11 minutes. And Kristen Kalman was first for the women in 24:47. I just know that's a classic race because when I was first getting into ultra running and hanging around the Mohican crew, that's one that they all talked about.
Yeah, it's kind of that's a rough one too. That one's speaking of technical, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit! You better love yourself some rocks before you get a
Yeah. And Ultra Trail Snowdonia. UTMB bought this race at some point, but this is in Wales in the UK. Extremely tough race. I've watched videos on this one, and there is over 31,000 feet of climbing. It's from the videos, it looks very technical, and 104 miles. Let's see, Ultra Trail Snowdonia. Seeing if we can get some pictures of this, but it is a beautiful race, but very rocky. You can see right here, just climbing rocks.
Just climbing rocks.
Yeah, there are some nice little road sections too, but look at that, dude. Can you see that?
It's crazy. Oh yeah, it's the one. Some of the pictures that always like kind of crack me up are the ones where it's so steep that people's heads are where other people's feet are. You know what I mean? You're like, good God.
Yeah. And these are like jagged rocks, and you would have to use your hands.
Oh, just that's not all the way scrambling, but it's pretty close to scramble.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Look at this. Dude, this is it would be brutal. It'd be so slow.
How soft I'd have to walk down that section right there would be so ridiculous. I'd be like 4 or 5 points of contact the entire time. I'd be trying to slide my butt down some of those rocks.
Oh, we call them crab butters, and there's definitely some crab butters here.
Yeah.
So the men's winner was Ethan Peters from Canada, and he came in just under the 24-hour mark, 23:59 finish. That's incredible.
Dude, that's insane.
Insane. And then the first place for the women was Paulina Krawczyk from Poland, and she finished in 28 hours and 13 minutes. Also very impressive.
Yeah.
So I noticed you had commented on this guy.
Yeah.
Alec Klein. he ran a race in Ohio that I was not familiar with called the High Lee. And this is in Richfield, Ohio, which I believe is out like in the Cleveland area. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Northeast Ohio. What's funny is if you click on the race's website, right? If you click on it, it'll take you to Fast Girls Running Company.
Yeah, and they do Run with Scissors, I see.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and so when you look at some of the stuff that they have a hand in, you're like, oh yeah, you know, I mean, like Run with Scissors is definitely the most at least my estimation is the most old school, you know, race in this group, a trail race at least.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Roy Hager was putting on Run with Scissors.
Yep.
Shit, dude, what? 20 years ago, maybe? I mean, if not more. I mean, I think it's been around forever today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a classic one. When I was first getting into ultra running, everybody talked about that one too.
Yep. You had to go up and do the costume run, right? At minimum, you had to run some of the race in the costume just for the giggity of it. But every year, Roy would be there in the fucking Grim Reaper costume and start the race, smoking a cigar. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a cool race. But anywho, we're not here to talk about Run with Scissors. We're here to talk about this High Lee. And so I got to looking into this High Lee, and this is only the second year of the 100. This race has been going on since 2021, and it's normally a timed event.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have like your 6, your 12, and your 24 hour. This is your first year doing a 100 miler. Did you read the course description by a wild chance?
Yeah. So it was mostly, from what I remember, it was mostly dirt road, mostly camp roads, and it's a 3 mile loop through the old Girl Scout camp and around the lakes.
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit of trail, but on the 3 mile loop, the course looks pretty nice. All right.
And so like it's one of those things where I first saw that dude's post. I'm like, Judas Priest, he was mowing it down. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, the dude's time is like I would never even be able to get a sniff that dude's time, right?
Right.
So I'm not trying, but like you look at the course, you're like, oh hell yeah, of course you say blow that thing down. It's dirt road. It's almost all dirt road. And it is, like you said, it's just a 2.95 mile loop. Bro, he ran 34 loops on that son of a bitch.
Yeah. And I will say there is a little bit of climbing on this loop, right? Like it's not flat.
There's
237 feet of climb per 3 mile loop. So I think it says there's around 8,000 feet of climb in the 100 mile.
Yep.
So it's not flat. So anyway, and this takes in Richfield, Ohio. You know, it's just always weird for me to see Richfield, Ohio, because I grew up in a little area in Northwest Ohio called Richfield Township.
Oh yeah.
So it's like Richfield. Oh wait, no, like there's no ultra races going on in Richfield Township. I guarantee you that. Well, maybe it's Secor Park. But anyway, so let's talk about the results of this High Lee 100 miler. Alec Klein was the one in the Instagram post. He finished almost 6.5 hours ahead of the second place, and he finished in 14:04, which is a course record by like 2.5 hours.
Blazing.
14:04. Yeah, I don't care if it's flat or anything. 14:04 is cooking.
I mean, dude, it's an 8.5 minute mile.
Yeah.
I mean, sustained. Right. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. Hard to believe that Walmsley laid down a Western States time just a little more than that.
I know.
It's hard to fathom. Mitch Davis was second in 20 hours and 24 minutes. Abigail Camelian, 23:23, and Heather Barger, 25:19 for first and second place women. This is another one that, it'd be fun, like just to go out, do the 12 hour, have some friends and fuck around.
I was just sitting there thinking, like, man, like it sounds silly, but I legit might sign up for the 6 hour next year
Yeah, why
just to go
not?
up and like fuck around. Like the
Yeah,
six
right.
hour. I mean, like it starts. I think I read on the website all races start at 5 a.m. All of them start at 5 a.m.
Cool. Yeah.
So I mean, all right, I'm gonna run until noon, right ish. I'm
Hmm.
gonna stop. I'm gonna have lunch, and I'm gonna proceed to drink beer and throw shit at people for the next like
Yeah.
several hours. Like that sounds pretty dope. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Let's move on to FKTs. The Ohio to Erie Trail. That's like a pretty famous route, I think.
Oh, extraordinarily. Yeah,
I mean, this thing goes from Cincinnati all the way to Cleveland.
yeah.
It's 326-mile trail that traverses the state of Ohio from Cincinnati to Cleveland, and it connects the Ohio River to Lake Erie. So you're going from south to north, and it's primarily rail trails and canal paths. It passes through Cincinnati, Columbus, Akron, and Cleveland. Is this part of the trail that goes from the south end of Columbus all the way to the north end of Columbus?
Yep, yep. So Ronnie Delosier has for years. Ronnie Delosier for years has wanted to run this route. For years has been talking about just knocking out 50 miles a day, taking 4 or 5 days to do it, 6 days, whatever. You know what I mean? And just slowly kind of knocking this thing out. He's wanted to do it for years.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool. It is. There's parts of it that are just like insanely wide open, exposed.
Oh yeah,
Like
for sure.
like when did this person did this? Gary Sines did this May 7th, so probably wasn't that bad. But this is like it. I mean, it wasn't cool. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's parts of it. What is kind of funny is this runs in Columbus. It does run from the south side, and when it cuts through Columbus a little bit on the east side,
Okay.
like right past Bexley, and like kind of goes up by where like Easton Mall is. So if you're familiar with Columbus,
Oh, it goes right through Westerville.
yeah. So what I'm ultimately getting at is where this goes through Columbus. I'm just saying you probably don't want to hit it at nighttime is what I'm really getting at.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
It does go through a rather interesting part of Columbus.
Yeah.
If you really zoom in on it. Yeah. So right there you go. So
Gotcha. Yeah. It's 323 miles, 3,400 feet of climb, which that's that's pretty flat for
yeah.
323 miles. Yeah, interesting. And Gary Sines, who that name sounds really familiar. Why do I know that name? Gary Sines?
I was getting ready to click on his name and see this is his only FKT he has.
Yeah.
But yeah, that name does ring a bell. I was like, I was going to throw him into FK, and I was saying throw him into Ultra Sign Up and see what else he has.
Yeah, yeah. If you would do that, that'd be cool. And he did the Ohio to Erie Trail in 6 days, 14 hours and 43 minutes and 1 second on May 7th. And yeah, that would be a cool one to go after because there's no self-supported on there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the 6 days, 14 hours, 43 minutes that's probably obtainable. It's probably obtainable.
I mean, he did 50 more miles. He did 50 more miles than Pete did, right? And how much longer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, so the reason this guy's name does ring a bell is he was just at Forget the PR this year.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, he was just at Forget the PR. That's kind of funny. He went down to Skunk Ape. He went down to
Skunk Ape's Revenge.
Yeah, he's done the Get Lucky 50-50.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
Burning River.
He's done all of the He's done all of the quintessential Ohio stuff. Boy, I tell you what, my dude burnt Burning River 50 miler down to the ground back in 21. He took fourth for his age, fifth overall.
Wow. Damn. He went, so if you look at his Burning River 50 from 2019, he was like 71st overall. And then fast forward to 2021, and he's like 5th overall, dude.
I mean,
listen, he improved big time.
Maybe we got to get some. Maybe that's some human growth hormone or some TRT or something. Like, what is my dude doing? So yeah, but you are right. It's really funny. But then it's kind of funny because like you can tell he just like there's just days where he doesn't feel like running. I feel like where he just doesn't feel like burning it to the ground because then you come up to like Bigfoot 50K earlier or like last year. He took 32nd, and forget the PR, he took 26. So it is kind of funny when he decides to turn it on. He's a motherfucker. He's a monster,
beast,
but it's kind of
young. He's still young. He's in his 30s.
Yeah, 34.
So maybe we'll see some things from him. There was another FKT and kind of a famous trail, the Ozark Trail in Missouri. Ozark, ever since I watched that show Ozark, I've been like very Ozark curious.
Yeah.
So I know there's a 100 miler, the Ozarks 100. That's a pretty famous 100, but
it's supposed to be pretty tough too.
The whole Ozark Trail goes through the Mark Twain National Forest and 230 miles from point to point and 30,000 feet of climbing. Says it's intended to reach from St. Louis to Arkansas. Over 350 miles of trail have been completed as of 2008. So I guess when it's finished, it's going to be 500 miles. So
that'd be a dope ass trail too.
Hell yeah. That's for sure. So we have the FKT was just set by Tim Beissinger, the unsupported. Wow. Unsupported. God, how the hell do you do that? And he only beat it by two hours, 4 days, 9 hours, and 25 minutes. How do you do that unsupported? 230 miles. Like, he had to have the public water taps. He had to carry all his food.
So go to his pictures. Go to his picture. The first picture is like that dude. It does not have a running vest on. He has a full-on ass backpack on.
Yeah.
Like this dude just like put his head down and power hiked and shuffled this motherfucker. Like
yeah, he has like a backpacking.
Yeah. Like that is impressive as shit, dude.
Hell yeah, it is. I couldn't imagine doing that unsupported. Like he can't even go and buy food. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
He had to take all that shit.
I mean, I get I guess I think back to the military days, right? Like in that backpack, it took him. Let's just round it up. Say it took him 5 days, and that backpack, if he can break down 10 MREs and have 10 MREs, he's looking at it. I think an MRE was 2,000 calories. So I mean, in theory, he should be able to carry close to 20,000 calories in just 10 MREs in that backpack. So if he did that and then just sourced his water, because he's allowed to use creeks, right?
Yeah. You can use even public tap. Like if there's a water tap that the public can access, like in a park, you can use that. But looks like he carried 6,000 calories of food for each day.
Yeah. So there you go. So that 20,000 guess I had is not way off. Like you know what I mean? Like he carried 24,000 calories.
Yeah. And your pack would get lighter as you moved on.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I guess that's the ironic part is in your head, you're probably telling yourself, oh, the pack will get lighter. Well, the shitty thing is your legs are also getting more tired. So you know what I mean? Like,
right. There's that.
I feel like the legs getting tired happens faster than the pack gets lighter. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
most deaf.
You are not appreciating.
But he had 5 pairs of socks, a couple layers, sleeping bag, iodine tabs for water. his plan was to sleep no more than a few hours per night, so he didn't bring a tent. In case of rain overnight, he intended to walk instead of sleep.
Oof.
Yeah, his mileage per day was 58, 50, 50, almost 53, 46, and 28.
I mean, it's not right when you. Isn't it funny how when you break it down like that, you're like, oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah. He slept less than intended. He slept 2.5 hours on night 1, 1.5 hours night 2, 55 minutes night 3, and 60 minutes on night 4. But we just witnessed Cocodona where people sleep like 20-minute nap for a night or a 2-hour nap.
Yeah.
So it's crazy what the body can do.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, this would be the bad part. He removed over 100 ticks from his legs.
It's funny because I think it's actually the picture. It's right there that I can see. It's just barely in the bottom. That picture, yeah, it is that one. That picture, when you look at it, you can see how
overgrown
that trail is.
Oh, yeah.
So like, and the fact that he did that he doesn't look like he has gaiters on. You know what I mean? Like, the amount of ticks.
100 over 100 ticks.
And that's the ones he found.
Yeah, like, God. Like, that's a hard no for me. Not a big fan of ticks.
Yeah.
I know somebody with Lyme disease, and her life is just like ruined.
Oh, yeah.
So, you got to be careful, everybody. Check yourselves when you're done with your runs. It's important to check your legs and check your clothes, check your head, check everything. Doesn't matter if you think, it's a clear trail, you think it's fine. They can drop out of trees.
Dude, yeah. Yep.
So make sure you check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay, let's move on to some news. So one of the main contenders for Western States has withdrawn, and that's Hayden Hawks. He had to get a little cleanup on his meniscus, and it was a very minor surgery, some fraying and a hangnail, but no tear or repair. He's been fighting it for a while, he said, and it really flared up recently. So after trying some different things, this was the best option, was to get this surgery to clean it up. And he had great advice from a whole bunch of people. And the bad news is that it means that he has to withdraw from Western States while he recovers from this. So it's disappointing. I mean, I get it. I do. But, it was, I mean, it's already going to be like maybe the best race of all time. But it would be awesome to see him, up there competing with Jim and, whoever else is in the front, because, he would have been right there. So, but yeah, it'll still be interesting, but it's unfortunate for him. But he's in really good spirits about it. He said he's going to be there, and so I mean, I'm sure he'll be back next year. All right, this marathon. This is one of these ridiculous things that I don't understand why people do this shit. But this Austrian runner ran a marathon in circles around a lighthouse to raise money for Children's Hospital. This is worse than Jam Jam's marathon on the helipad.
Yeah.
Like, at least he had the helipad. At least he got like a little distance. But this guy ran 3,516 laps around the lighthouse to complete his marathon. But he did it to raise money for a children's hospital. So that's cool. And it took him 5 hours and 37 minutes. And in that time, he broke the marathon around the lighthouse world record.
You think? I mean, how many? Like, such a weird thing.
Yeah. Here's a little Instagram video of him doing it. Oh wait, I gotta share this. Doing his laps. I mean, I don't know.
Like that is almost tight enough that I think I'd get dizzy.
Oh yeah. Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt.
And he's running fast enough that I actually think you would get dizzy.
Yeah. And imagine, I wonder if he switched directions at all. Because imagine
you have to. You have to.
Your left leg, if he was going in that direction the whole time, his left leg would be like
his hip
load up.
Yeah, his hip would be rocked.
Yeah, totally. Oh man. Somebody just posted the comment, why? Question mark. Too funny. All right. So, all right, we're already at the 3 T's, man.
Yeah. I mean, hey, like
we had an efficient show for a change.
We talked about doing the shows a little bit faster. I mean, like if we get this in and out in 45 minutes, like I think it's what we kind of discussed wanting to do. So
yeah.
But anywho, yeah, 3 T's. Let's get after it.
So our last few have been like, how to handle the heat, how to handle the rain. And Johnny made a good point in the last episode. Our next one is naturally going to be what do you do when shit just goes sideways?
Yeah.
And this could be like anything going sideways, because so many things can go sideways. I mean, blister, roll your ankle, get in trouble with the heat, your stomach's screwed up, you're puking, I don't know, anything. You're hypothermic like Pete was. And
yeah, all the fun stuff.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So I think the first things first, right, is and this will be kind of universal across them all. Right. So regardless if it's hypothermic, regardless if it's heat, regardless of vomiting, like the one thing I'm getting ready to say will be universal across them all. When it shit hits the fan, first things first, don't panic.
Mm-hmm.
Like as maybe trivial or obvious as that sounds, that's the first thing. It's like don't panic, don't freak out. Because that's not going to get you anywhere, right? Like that's not going to get you anywhere. Like you gotta calm down.
And that includes getting lost.
Yeah, dude. Like
if you took a wrong turn, you're 2 miles down the wrong trail, you can't panic. It's so hard not to, but you just gotta relax. You don't want to take off in a sprint. Don't
burn a ton of energy to get back on course.
Yeah.
Just, you know what? Take your time, get back to course and look for the flag, get reoriented, and go on from there. More than likely, you're going to be okay anyways. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be all right. So after staying calm and getting stuff, I think the next thing is kind of actually it's kind of interesting because we kind of talked about it with the getting lost part. It's getting to a state of it's getting somewhere safe, so to say. It's getting to It's getting into a controlled environment. It's getting somewhere where like, okay, I've made it back to the course. I mean, let me calm down. Let me get my adrenaline back under control. Let me get my heart rate back under my heart, my breathing, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Same thing if your heat gets out of whack, or if your food or your stomach or all right, keep calm. Get to an aid station. You're to the aid station. You're good. You're fine. Nothing. Like it's time to settle in and begin to do the little checks and balances, right? Like, okay, like let's get warm, right? Getting warm is always going to be the first thing if you're recording. All right, let's get calories in. But like it's amazing that if you can stay calm, if you can get to a controlled environment, right? And then after calm, controlled environment, the next thing is the Holy Trinity. Salt, sugar, water. and just get the Holy Trinity in you. And if you happen to be cold, get warm. If you happen to be
get it
wet,
in you.
Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're wet, get dry. If you're cold, get warm. If you're hot, get cool. But amongst those, get the Holy Trinity in you.
Yep.
I would like a couple years ago when I was running Rim to River, right? I started coming down this hill. Boop, light went out, and I'm like, motherfucker! And like, I'm literally like 400 feet from an aid station. I'm like, dude, literally just put new batteries in this piece of shit. And, all right, stay calm. Walk my happy ass back up to the aid station. Like, anyone got batteries for a dipshit? And they're like, yeah, man, yeah. Here you go. I'm like, cool, right? Stay calm. I put the new batteries in. I'm ahead. I'm well ahead of schedule. There's no reason to panic. Got to bebopping down the trail. Aid station worker who gave me those, clearly that fine gentleman had been wearing his headlamp all evening long. I make it about halfway to the next aid station. Boop, and I'm like, mother effer. All right, I mean, like, it's West Virginia. I'm down by the river. It is dark. I mean, like, I'll just move a little bit slower until another runner catches up with me, and I was still there like for a little bit, and like finally someone caught up to me, and I jogged right behind. I basically nut the butt, ran right up on him, trying to steal their light. You know what I mean? And did that long enough that daybreak kind of came up. You're like, okay, I'm Gucci. You know what I mean? You're good to go. And I think that's really the big thing. It's just like don't I can't stress, don't panic. Don't panic. Get somewhere safe. Get somewhere controlled. And then the Holy Trinity and whatever else there may need to be. So that's mine.
No, that's perfect. And like one thing, just to like sum up everything you said, is how I approach it. Is you have to do. You said diagnostic. You have to do problem solving, right?
Yes.
And sometimes it's not easy. You might have swollen fingers, like really swollen. And that can mean one of two things. Either you have too much liquid and not enough electrolyte, or you have too much electrolyte and not enough liquid. So it's really problem solving. And it's like, sometimes you just have to let stuff be until it works itself out.
Yeah.
Because if you do have too much liquid, not enough electrolyte, and then you put more liquid in, your problem's just going to get worse.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And sometimes you do have to you do have to A/B test. Like, to your point, like, right? Like, my hands swell all the time. This silly ass little hike we went on that day, my hands swelled up.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me, like, it's weird. Like, sometimes mine swell because of not enough water. Sometimes it swell because of too much water. And so for me, when mine get puffy, I'm like, well, shit, here we go. Let's 50-50 shot. Let's roll the dice. I'm going to drink some water. We'll see if they stay puffy. Well, guess it wasn't too much water. I guess it's not enough salt. And then I gotta like hammer the salt. Now, the one thing that we haven't talked about that is kind of funny. And so this 3 T's is what happens when the shit hits the fan. And so for the folks who don't know, in the real world, I'm in sales, right? I won't say what level of sales. I won't say. I'm in sales. Now, I will tell you that in sales, there is this thing about how do you beat objections? Well, it's the first person to the objection wins the objection, right? Meaning that you've got to plan for certain things, right? Like, if I know someone's going to habitually say like a retort to something, I'm going to get to that retort before they get to that retort. And so anyways, the moral of this is, and this is something you're extraordinarily good at. You are infinitely better at this than I am in the ultra running world. And it's planning for the what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jamie, I've known this about Jamie, but out at Coco, I've known this about Jamie for years. I've known this about him, but out at Coco, it became like hella relevant and like very much like forward face. Is that Jamie is a, well, what if? Well, what if? Like, it is like, there is not a thought or a situation or a problem that doesn't run through Jamie's head that he doesn't have something.
Let me tell you something, though. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
It's so funny because, like, when shit hits the fan, Jamie's like, yeah, we planned for that. And it's like, what the fuck? What do you mean? And so the flip side of that coin is there's my dumb ass that's like, shorts and a t-shirt should get me by. And, dude, it's 40 degrees. So, like, it'll be all right. And then I get outside, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I do want to throw a merino on. And then I'll throw like a heavy t-shirt on. But like, it's funny because like that's another way to, like, when shit hits the fan, sometimes the best answer to when shit hits the fan is like, well, we probably should have thought of that scenario or these scenarios before and had a game plan for it. Because if you kind of like really thought about all the what ifs and all this kind of shit, or just the majority of the what ifs, you really could plan for that and like be able to reach right back in a hydration vest into a pocket and be like, boom, here we go. Yeah. And so that makes it a lot more comfortable to survive the what ifs. Now, the flip side of that coin is you can just be a stubborn, hard-headed, miserable son of a bitch and just like suffer through stuff like I do, or you can be smart and have like game plans in place like Jamie does. So that's your thing that does jump into my mind.
And a lot of this is done through experience, right? You learn about new stuff. You learn how to solve problems by experimenting. So the more for the newer runners, newer ultra runners, you will go through some things and you will learn from them. We've Johnny and I have learned many lessons throughout
the
our
hard way.
ultra running days. Yeah, the hard way. It's and when it's a situation where you're like, yep, not letting that happen again.
Yeah. That is very true. Like there are things that like I will suffer through a lot of stuff, but there is 100% things where I'm like, that will never happen. Prime example. I will never, ever, ever, ever run in the desert that has even a small river crossing in it again without having a change of socks.
Yeah.
Like I will never that was like the most ignorant ass thought I've ever had in my head of like, well, yeah, there's like 4 or 5 river crossings, but it's the desert, so my feet will dry out fast. What a dumb fuck thought I had and did that. So I will never I learned my lesson. My feet were fucked up, but I now know that your feet will not dry as fast as the sand will turn your feet into sandpaper.
Yeah. Same with hate to be graphic here, but the ass chafage. That's something. That's a death sentence. That is a death sentence. You do not want to let that get out of control, because once it is out of control, there's no going back. Gotta make sure you're prepared. So anyway, yes. So diagnosing problems, learning from experience, and like you said, don't panic. And I will say, just my last little story. I've said this on the podcast many times on the show. There's been times where I've been dead to rights. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to continue when I get to this aid station. But I sat down, ate some food, drank some Coke, maybe laid down for 10 minutes. And you know what? That's pretty much all it takes. You get up, you leave the aid station, you feel like a new person. I watched Pete after what it was like over 200 miles in to Cocodona, was hardly moving on the trail. We took a 20-minute nap. I was going to let him sleep for 15, decided to let him sleep 5 minutes longer at the aid station. He got up and he was like, I feel like a new man. Let's go, And I'm like, let's go. So no matter how badly you feel, just trust me, you can come out of it.
There's worse. Yeah.
Your mind will be convinced. You will be convinced that this is not for you. This is not your day. You're okay with quitting, but you're not. If you quit, you will not be okay.
Yeah. There's something there. There's like, I remember hearing this, like this might be an old military thing, but like, it's something like your body is capable of like some wild percentage more than your brain can perceive.
Oh, for sure.
Like it's like some insane number where like, if your brain tells you you're done, your body can actually do X% more. And it's like, it's fucking astronomical.
I believe it.
So Anywho, we can wrap it up and like, look, we can have an hour-long show this week. So like, that's pretty fucking dope, actually.
It is.
Maybe a new standard.
Give everybody a break. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. We appreciate you, and hope you have a great Memorial weekend coming up. Maybe you can get out for a couple long runs. All right. Well, thanks again.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you on the next one.
See ya.